They didn't know what longitude was in those days, but it also could mean a line of longitude in modern interpretations. Above actually is a term that means to the north of. So what Paul was saying, in effect, he was giving us a geographical location of where Mount Sinai is. And he said Mount Sinai is south of, or Jerusalem is due north of Mount Sinai. And if you draw a line, if you go to Google Earth, anyone can do this, and go to the mountain, you'll find that line comes straight from Jerusalem and intersects this mountain we're talking about. So look at the difference between this location and what the traditional location. Even the Bible is even this accurate, where it pinpoints exactly where the mountain is.
Yep.
Is that absolutely incredible? I'm going to show you these. These are what I call roll-ins. We have, 6 of these. And we showed in one of the services this morning, but we'll see the tour from the top of the mountain again.
From high atop the jagged pinnacle of Mount Horeb in northwest Saudi Arabia, we found ourselves gazing in awe toward the south at the majestic beauty of Mount Sinai. Blackened and different from all its surrounding companions, this mountain stands apart at first glance. As we began our climb up the northern flank of this unique mountain, the dividing line between light and dark granite became glaringly obvious. Exodus 24:17 records that the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on top of this mountain. And now, sitting on Sinai's very peak, the color of these rocks can truly be seen. Coming into view now is the granite peak called the Brown Laws by ancient maps. After extensive research, we believe that Horeb and Sinai are 2 distinct mountains, and that is why they're referred to that way in Scripture. But for now, we'll go back to our view from the top of Sinai, and as you can see here, the valley floor below is enormous and well able to contain the huge numbers comprising those who came out of Egypt. About halfway up the eastern face of Sinai is this hidden valley that can't be seen from below. Exodus 24:9 and 10 tells us of a meeting of the Lord with Moses, Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 elders of Israel. They saw God at a distance and as it were a pavement of sapphire under his feet. And glancing upward to where the glassy blackness appears, it's not difficult to imagine a deep blue shine here from the glory of the Lord. Looking all the way down into the camp, we get our first glimpse of the altar to the golden calf. Fenced and forbidden by the Saudis to enter, we would have to devise a plan to get close-up footage of this on another trip. In the same manner, close in to the base of Sinai, we saw the clear image of a double-wall corral leading up to a slaughter area and an altar of earth and uncut stone. Just behind the altar is a dry stream bed running from the mountain all the way into the valley below. Moses cast the remnants of the golden calf into the brook that came out of the mount, according to Deuteronomy 9:21. Here you can see the fence that the Saudis have erected to keep people out of this area. It is extensive and encloses a guard outpost visible here. They are quite serious about keeping the eyes of the world off this mountain.
Once again, I'll draw your attention to Isaiah 45, verses 1 to 3. Check it out in your own Bible, because even though these things are behind fences, the Lord has a way of getting behind a fence. He can do it. And we stand here as witnesses to it. These pictures aren't here because we're some kind of geniuses at photography or anything else. These pictures are here because the Lord wanted everybody to see them. Now, we're going to look at the mountains.
I was going to say, y'all get to see them without carrying those 50-pound backpacks, too, and sleeping in the desert for 5 days at a time.
Do you know what, as short as I am, I'll look like with a 90-pound backpack on my back?
We're going to post those pictures
figure.
on the website.
Let me tell you the truth. But anyway, this is the mountain that we believe is Mount Sinai. It's actually called Jebel Makla in Arabic. Jebel simply means mount in Arabic, just as Har does in Hebrew, or mount as we would call it. Jebel Makla. This is the mountain that we believe is Sinai. It's very different from all the rest of the mountains. It's even shaped differently. The color of the rocks is different. It's just different all the way around. And the other mountain that we believe factors in here is what we think is Mount Horeb. The two are actually joined at the base from about 4,500 feet down, as they kind of poke up as different caps on this vast mountain range that's called the Laws Range. But we believe that this is Horeb. It's the same mountain, and yet it's a different mountain. And it really does fit the biblical descriptions, as you'll see a little bit later on. But that is actually Jim a few years ago.
What happened?
And he
Much
is
better
standing on the top of what we believe to be Sinai, Jebel Makla, and we're looking back across the mountain range. It's about 5 miles from peak to peak, what we believe to be Mount Horeb. And you can see we're way up high there. That's a long way up for a couple of Louisiana-born people, let me assure you.
You can see the stone here is a different color from the red granite,
Yep.
and this is more of a bluish color stone. But one of the things, we had attempted to climb up this mountain and finally made it up on this trip. But when I was standing there, and what drew us up was this idea, because remember we had studied the scripture, we had taken Exodus apart, we had all these notes, and one of the things that Moses saw on top of Mount Sinai, he looked up and he saw the heavenly pattern. He saw the things that he modeled the Ark of the Covenant